What are some things that define you? What are some things that you can think of that really, over a span of time that you can remember, really make you you? Really make you somebody that, if someone had to describe you, could say that the description they give really says a lot about your character, your personality, who you are. Now think of moments in your life that might be able to be used to define you. Things that have happened in your life, things that you might know of, experiences, different situations, might be school, might be things that kind of cater into knowledge, or maybe your morals, maybe traits that really tell you who you are. A lot of us have a really good perception of who we are. Many of us don't. I believe the one most important thing that we all have and share is a story. We all have the ability to look at past experiences and look at things that maybe define our lives. And these defining moments really tell a story about who we are, about who we've come to be and what we do. I know I've been just kind of thinking of this ability for us to be storytellers, and how when we walk through our journey, wherever it might be in life, we share experiences through stories to allow others to really have a better understanding of what it is that we've done, what it is that where we have been in our life and where we're going. I think that we have a common goal to try to be around people that might have the same story. And it even takes me one step further in thinking that these stories really help us to pretty much learn any kind of piece of content or information better. It really helps us to be able to discover who we are through the eyes of others, and through also our own eyes, being able to describe our own story of where we've been and what has defined us. I like this idea of storytelling when we get into presenting. And when we start looking at the ability for us to be able to share content and share information and really embrace students, whether they be in a classroom setting, whether it be a workshop setting, regardless of what it is, we have the ability to impact others from our stories, from our own experiences. One thing that I've gotten from working with students, and I've really keyed in and really paid more attention to, is that everybody that we come in contact with on a daily basis has their own story. They have experiences that have brought them to one single place at one single time. And it's at the time that we are conversing information, whether it be about our day, whether it be something that we're doing, whatever it might consist of, it's us relaying and us understanding information based on our own story. The story is a translation. The story is a meeting place for two people or a group of people to come in and have a commonality to be able to share past experiences, and not only share in the past experiences, but share in future experiences to come. Stories are pretty awesome. Stories allow us to use imagination. They allow us to reach out beyond where we are at the present time, to think outside the box, to really understand and comprehend where someone that we might not even know is coming from. Stories really help us to link stages of life together, and I really feel like stories are the communication focal point that we need to really understand and realize whenever we're going into any type of conversation with someone. It's a very valuable tool. We can look at storytellers and the ability to tell stories. If you think back in really probably all aspects of life. I know for myself, one of the most influential storytellers I've ever known was a pastor that actually baptized me, kind of has been a mentor growing up. But the one thing that I think I loved about my pastor was his ability to draw in our audience within church every Sunday to his sermon, whatever it was, whatever scripture he had set up for us to understand, or the information or the point of his sermon, he grasped our attention and held on to us from a story, from something that allowed us to come together as 100+ people and understand where he was coming from. He directed us and guided us via storytelling. We look at anybody else that might be an influential speaker and their ability to grasp us and retain us from storytelling. My challenge to you would be to really start to understand your story, really start to take content and information and piece together what it is that you're trying to say to your audience into a story that allows myself or allows another audience to really understand you better through storytelling. And through that storytelling, relating content and information in to get your point across. Take a little time, take a couple of days, go read a book, go to a child's section in the library, take out a couple of stories. If you have kids, read a story to your kid. If you have nothing else to do, rent a Disney movie. Just find some type of story, maybe from your childhood that you've already been involved with and you really understand, or go out and get a new story. Find a story that you can relay information through to your audience. I had a very unique experience with this at our apprenticeship, thanks to Bobby and many of you who actually allowed me to tell a story of ESD through Cinderella. That was a pretty incredible experience. But you know what? Afterwards, although it was very uncomfortable, I felt like I came away from that experience really understanding the power of storytelling, really understanding the ability, no matter how goofy it was and no matter how uncomfortable it was, I could really relay information and have that information remembered just because of the story. It wasn't really the content and it wasn't really how dynamic the presentation was. It was the audience's experience and their experience through storytelling. So go find a story, have fun with the story, really look into the story, and see how maybe your own life experiences can be told through that story, or the content that you're willing to give and share and present an experience to your students or your group, your audience. Make sure they get that experience through a story, because storytelling is going to be a pathway that links you to your audience. It'll build a relationship and it'll build a rememberable experience. Thank you.